Hello everyone, this is Dr.Siddalinga Murthy SM, HOD of Botany, ADB First Grade College, Murthy. Today's video class is for B.Sc 4th semester. Just 1 hour class is left over for you students. So in that leftover part today I want to discuss on wildlife. In fact, we have started this one. I gave a little introduction. So now let me tell you in detail about the wildlife definition, conservation of wildlife, and also the national parks and sanctuaries. So now let us discuss about the wildlife. Yes, wildlife. If you remember, I have given already the introduction. Anyway, after a long gap in the sense not much long gap, a little gap. So wildlife, the meaning of wildlife you already know. So naturally occurring organisms in simple meaning, uncultivated area, then undomesticated animals. So all this constitute wildlife. So in simple meaning, the forest, the plants and the animals which is natural living is nothing but what? Wildlife. Students, we have discussed already the importance of wildlife. Of course, if wildlife is not there, it is very difficult for us to survive. Several benefits are there from the wildlife. We are getting the food, we are getting the entertainment, tourism is possible, we will get the peace of mind, then we will get the pure air, rain, whatnot. Several uses are there from the wildlife. Ecological balance, everything. So it is very essential to protect this wildlife. Friends, you know that recently what happened, several forest fires and some kind of diseases, and because of all these things what happened, some percentage of the wildlife we unfortunately lost. So anyway, that is why we have to take care of this wildlife. It is not only the government and organization, so it is each and every of us have the responsibility to conserve the wildlife. So let me tell you how we can conserve the wildlife. We can conserve the wildlife by these 8 steps. Conservation of habitat. First thing, you all know the meaning of habitat. Natural dwelling place. So how for us not possible to live without a house? So exactly like that, all the animals in the wild have their own living places, and the living places are different for different animals. Some animals live in caves, some animals live in the nest, some animals live in the water, some animals live in the bushes. So like that, there are several types of natural dwelling places. So if you or if anybody destroy that natural dwelling place, what happens? Difficulty for the animal to survive. So as it don't find its own habitat, it may get disturbed, it may feel something difficulty, and it may become a prey for the predator also. So therefore, it is very important to conserve the habitat. So for students, you might have seen how the zoos are maintained. There you will find different types of animals with different types of habitats. So they have artificially prepared the habitats so as to protect that particular animals. Species preservation. As I used to say that each and every creature is very important in this earth. So as each and every species is important, one should not lose a species. So therefore it is important to protect each and every species. So more the species, more is the beauty of wildlife. That is why if some species find difficulty to survive, one has to identify, and we have to take proper steps to preserve the species. What problem arises for that species, we have to identify. So if disease is there, steps should be taken. If water problem arises, should take some kind of steps. Somehow we have to protect the species. Exotic species introduction. So in some forests and some zoos or in national park sanctuaries, so more the animals and plant species, more is the beauty, as I said. So that we have to get species from foreign countries, exotic in the sense foreign species. So we can get new plant species and animals provided they are healthy without any infection from the friendly nations, and we can save here, and thereby we can enhance the importance of wildlife. Predator control. The animal which eats the other animals are called as predators. The animal which is eaten by predator, it is prey. So if predators are more in number than the number of prey, what happens? The particular species or the animals may disappear totally. It may become extinct. So therefore, if predator population becomes more than the prey, then we have to control the predator somehow. Then breeding. Of course, under the breeding only, these two types are there. Breeding means we have to allow proper environment for the animals for the natural breeding. That means reproduction. So if environmental conditions are favorable for reproduction, then only the population will increase and the wildlife will survive. Some animals or the plants need inbreeding, that is reproduction by the same plant. Inbreeding is very common in case of plant self-pollination, so that the purity of a plant can be maintained. Cross breeding, this is possible both in plants and animals. So cross breeding leads to some variations or the differences. Whatever we find some changes throughout the several years, evolutionary changes what we call. So that's all because of this cross breeding. So cross breeding is very, very essential. So therefore it is necessary for the wildlife to have different types of individuals in a particular population, so that cross breeding leads to a healthy organisms. Legislation of wildlife, this is very, very important. So there must be a strict law by the government so that one should not harm the wildlife. One should not destroy the plants, for example cutting and other things, and one should not destroy the animals, killing or eating the animals for food or whatever the purpose. So there is, of course, Wildlife Act is there, strict law is there, so thereby one can conserve the wildlife. So these are the methods by which we can conserve the wildlife. Another method to conserve the wildlife is to create national parks and sanctuaries. Students, you know that there are several national parks and sanctuaries in the world. Probably some of you during our botanical tour might have visited the national parks and sanctuaries also. So this is the one method and the best method to protect the wildlife. So here national parks and sanctuaries, in the sense some kind of forest are selected and proper protection is provided there, so as to protect the animals and plants. For example, you might have heard Bandipur, Bannerghatta, Kuduremakka and so that. So this is how several national parks are there, and some sanctuaries, Rangantintu Bird Sanctuary, then Darozi Sloth Bear Sanctuary, then Rangantintu Bird Sanctuary, like that several sanctuaries are there. So now let me tell you about these national parks and sanctuaries, which may be asked for 5 marks. So these national parks and sanctuaries are established as far as the Wildlife Act 1972 is concerned. The forest area with special legal status, that means some forest area are there, there is some kind of special legal status is there. Certain steps are taken to maintain them and also to protect them and to promote also. There is a management, forest management. So those forest area with proper special status for maintenance of these wildlife, that is nothing but what national parks and sanctuaries. National parks have more special protection than that of sanctuaries. They are given more, in fact they are the bigger ones, so more importance is given for the national parks compared to that of sanctuaries. Sanctuaries also a protected area, but particular animals, as I said, bird sanctuary, tiger sanctuary, so like that. So here in the sanctuaries, treatment will be there to preserve wild animals and of course with habitat. As I said, bird sanctuary, bear sanctuary, lion sanctuaries, so like that. Sanctuaries, in case of sanctuaries, what happens? Fauna enjoys complete protection. That means there is no hunting there. Animals are totally protected, but he can make use of the plant products. So if a tree is fallen, you can get the timber. If fruits are fallen there, you can collect the fruits and you can use. If medicinal products are there, you can have it. So this is how flora can be exploited in the sanctuaries. But in case of national parks, just to watch that park, there is a facility, but you cannot use anything. Just it should be leave. I mean that park left as such. If any danger is, protection will be taken, but the products are not used in case of national parks. So in national parks, as I said, both fauna and flora. Fauna means animal world and plant, both are protected. So national parks have more higher status, as I said already. And another very important thing is that protection of the wildlife, in spite of several law and rules, there may be chances of disappearance of some species. So each and every species genome or the hereditary material is very important, that is required for various genetic experiment, tissue culture experiment, and very importantly the biotechnology experiments. So gene should be stored. Preserving all the organisms including the plants and animals is nothing but the storage of genes. So therefore by having the national parks and sanctuaries, we can store the genes. So that is why they are nothing but gene banks. And as I said, hunting is prohibited in both. So you cannot hunt the animals. Only the other possibility is that the farmers can rear some animals like goat, hen, fish and other things, and that we can use for the eating purpose. So naturally, particularly in the wild forests, you cannot go and hunt the animals. So therefore, national parks and sanctuaries are very very important to maintain the greenery of our country, to have the mentally peace and recreation spots, and also very importantly tourism spots. Of course, there are several national parks and sanctuaries in the world, as I said. So in our country we have about 60 national parks. In Karnataka, hope you know Bandipur, Mysore district, so Kodagu district and a part of Mysore, Nagarhole, Bannerghatta, Bangalore. So like Kudremukha is also there. There are several sanctuaries. Some of the sanctuaries in our Karnataka are, say, in Dandeli, Bhadra, Kaveri, Dharozi, Rangantittu and so on. Students, a very very important question for 5 marks. So national parks and sanctuaries. Prepare well as far as the examination point of view is concerned. Dear students, you can make use of this map. So here you see this indicates the sanctuaries and this will indicate the national park. So this is a dark star, so for example Rangantittu. So Bannerghatta, so this is the light one, national park. So you can observe wherever you find in our state particularly the national parks and sanctuaries. So you have all the Google facility. If you are interested, you can watch them, all these national parks and sanctuaries in the Google also few things I put here. See, Bannerghatta Jaivika Udyanavana, Bannerghatta National Park, Bangalore. Bandipur Tiger Reserve, Mysore. Particularly Bandipur, it is the national park. So tiger, elephants you will find there. Karnataka Aranya Ilakhe maintaining Garozi Sloth Bear Sanctuary. We are proud to say that our beloved district has got this sanctuary. Even in Anka Samudra also near Agribamulli, bird sanctuary. Recently it is made. So we have bird sanctuary. We have this sloth bear sanctuary. See how beautifully the sloth is there. So love the animals, love the plants, and take some interest to protect these sanctuaries and this wildlife. So that will help you. If you protect the wildlife, that will protect you, isn't it? Okay. So that's all about the national parks and sanctuaries. Students, a small thing is left over. That is the forests of Karnataka. So I will take that class in the next time. So Rangate, how beautiful birds are there. Variety of birds we can observe there. So love the beauty of nature and take interest also to protect the wildlife. Okay, that's all. Yes, that's all about wildlife, national parks and sanctuaries. Dear students, as far as this topic is concerned, wildlife definition may be asked for 2 marks. Then the conservation of wildlife may be asked for 5 marks. National parks and sanctuaries, a very common question for 5 marks. So definitely one will appear in the examination. So you go through the notes which I supplied to you, and also you can listen this video class what I said so far, and prepare well. So hope you are all safe at home and preparing for the examination. Be safe and be at home only. Refer all the material whatever you have and make use of these video classes, online classes. And as I informed you already, several video classes are available in the Gnana Nidhi also. So that is available in the B.Sc and even in the YouTube also. So read well. In the last class, I will tell you about the phytogeographical regions of Karnataka or the forests of Karnataka. Okay, thank you.